I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journaling process video for you. I am working through Worthy of the Gospel from By the Well for God, and I'm on day 10, which has us looking in the book of Acts. So I have a couple stamp sets pulled out, some of the papers that coordinate with the kit, and I'm just going to see what comes from this page. So I will make sure to list everything down below with links of all the supplies that I end up using. Otherwise, I will put you all on fast forward and we'll get going. Let's go. Okay, while I begin fussy cutting some of the pieces from the coordinating scrap paper, let me read to you the verse that I'm focusing on. It is in Acts 2, and it says, "They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer." So in this particular day of the devotional, we are talking about fellowship with our church family and with our neighbors and with those around us, and how fellowship, we're really called to a deeper fellowship. It's more than just gathering for, the good old potluck dinner, and more than just meeting in Sunday school. It's diving deeper. It's really doing life together. And I know that has been super challenging in 2020, and I'm definitely feeling it. Like, I'm feeling the fatigue of not being at church and missing my church family. And so I think this was a really timely devotional for me personally, just as a remembrance of how amazing it is when you have that fellowship with other followers of Christ. So that's what I'm focusing on as I'm working through this page. And you can see I am tearing 3 of the papers, and I'm going to create a little neighborhood cluster here. Kind of focusing on that fellowship is even outside the church. It's in our neighborhood, it's in our communities. So getting together with believers all over. It does not just have to be in the church building. I have the Love Thy Neighbor stamp set pulled out, and I'm going to stamp out 3 of the banners that come in the set. And I'm doing it on a separate sheet of paper because I knew I wanted to fussy cut it out. And also, this is the first time I'm using some of these stamps, and so I wasn't sure how the impression would go. Sometimes it takes a few tries. The distress ink doesn't give quite the look that I wanted to. I'm actually stamping on watercolor paper, so it wasn't quite as smooth as I'd hoped, but that's okay. It adds a little bit of texture because of the distress look. And then this big welcome stamp is one of the extra bonus stamps that came with the kit. So love all of the stamps. I love all of the little stamps. So fussy cutting out these little banners just to add to my neighborhood cluster. I love how this piece came together. I have been loving tearing paper. If you haven't followed me over on Instagram, you should. It's at ScrappyWife blog, and I have been playing with torn paper like it was my job. So again, more torn paper in this. I just like the look. I like the look of the tear against the clean patterns. I think it just adds a lot to a page. I decided to go ahead and highlight the word love with a black micron pen just to make it stand out a little bit more. And now I'm going to start to assemble my neighborhood on my page I'm going to use my ATG advanced tape glider a little bit more, just because it's these big pieces, it's easy to use, and it's a really strong adhesive. And so I like how it's going to hold up. I haven't had issues with things falling off with this particular tape gun, which I really, really like. So I'm layering these pieces, and then I end up just nestling in the little houses and the banners, and I love the clustering that happens, and I love the thought of the neighborhood and this kind of hilly neighborhood. I think it is just adorable. I'm also loving playing with these paper pieces recently, just because it gives you more freedom to kind of play around with the placement of things, to really look into some of the details. When I am painting directly on a page or stamping directly on a page, I mean, you're stuck with where it's at. That's it. But if you're cutting it out, if you're stamping on something different and moving these pieces around, you can play with the placement, which I think is a lot of fun. I could have popped these banners up, but I ended up just going with them flat because there was already a lot of bulk with those layers of paper. I decided to go ahead and notate the verse that I'm focusing on, Acts 2:42, because I know, because the placement of where that verse is on the page, it's going to be partially covered up. And actually, you're still going to be able to read it. I'll just show you how that's going to work. So I'm going to underline the verse, and I am going to use a clear adhesive pocket. Now, I picked these up at the Target dollar spot. They usually have them this time of year around back to school. I will see if I can find something similar on Amazon and link it below. I love these pockets for Bible journaling because I don't like covering up the verses. I don't mind it every now and then because I've said before, I have a lot of different Bibles I study from, and this one is primarily for journaling, so I can still focus on all of the verses. So if something gets covered up a little bit, it's not a huge deal, but I try to avoid it if I can. And this clear pocket is going to allow me to do that. So I have this tag that I'm embellishing here, and that's where I'm going to put my journaling later on in the video. I'm just using the tag as kind of an extension of my little neighborhood that I've created over there on the left. But because I'm using the clear adhesive pocket, I'll be able to stick that tag in and not worry about covering up the main verse that I'm focusing on. I still wanted to put it over on the left just so I would have that memory, and it also helped me bring a little bit of pink there into the bottom of the page. But the clear adhesive pockets work so well. So if you are at Target and you see those, or the Dollar Tree somewhere, make sure to pick them up because they are super useful. You can see I'm just testing the size of my tag there. Now I'm going to use some of the clear stickers. I get a little bit indecisive right here. So I know that I can put clear stickers down first before I put my tag if I wanted, because they will eventually show up when the clear adhesive pocket is over it. I know I want to use the love one another. I end up just putting it to the side. I can't decide where I want it. So like, should it go there, there? I just stick it to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and put my pocket down just so I know where the tag is going to be. And you can see perfectly clear, so I will still be able to read once I pick up that tag, but the tag fits securely in there. And that helps me just figure out where the placement of love one another is going to be. It works really well right in that little open spot right there, still not covering up anything. And then these were some bonus stickers that came not with the kit, but as just a bonus goodie, and I think they are so adorable. So I chose the words invited, give, and called because I thought they were just so fitting, and I stuck them on top of the clear adhesive or the clear pocket so that you could see it over the tag, and then adding a little bit of the faux washi there at the bottom. I just love the look of how that turned out. I have been hoarding these faux washi stickers just a bit because they are just so pretty, and so I'm finally making myself use them this month. I put this one halfway off. I'm going to trim it out because I want to block off this border over here. So because the image at the bottom goes all the way to the edge, I kind of wanted to define that up here as well. But the washi doesn't go all the way to where my neighborhood starts, if that makes sense. There's a little bit of white space there, and it ends up looking awkward. So I want to fill that in because I want it to connect to each other. So I'm going to fussy cut out a couple of more houses and, you know, have more neighbors move in. More fellowship is always a good thing. So I'll fussy cut out those houses, and that covers up that little bit of white space and just makes it flow a little bit better in my opinion. So I'm going to stick that house there, and then I'll end up cutting out one more. And it's kind of cool because these houses I cut out as singular houses, and that way I was able to kind of rearrange and make them in a different order than the other clusters were. So it works out really nicely, and I'm really happy with how my little neighborhood came together. Once my neighborhood is done, I'm going to move towards the title, and I am going to add the title Move Deeper in Fellowship, because that is what we're called to do. It's about more than just breaking bread. Like I said before, it's doing life together. It's having accountability within your church family. I just love that concept. I end up journaling later on just about how much I miss my church. We are still doing virtual church. We're still not in the building. We have Zoom Sunday school, and we have live cast sermons, and it's great. And my church has done a fantastic job of helping us stay safe and trying to keep us connected. But there's just something about in-person church that I miss, and I just am praying for the day that we are back together. So I typed up my journaling. I'm going to put it on the back right there. You saw me add my date a little bit earlier, and now this page is pretty much done. This kit is currently sold out over at By the Well for God, but some of the goodies are still available, and we are still in pre-sale for their newest devotional, True North. So make sure to head over to By the Well for God shop. It's linked below, and check out that pre-sale because that is full of some fabulous deals. Thank you so much for joining me today. I pray that today you will find some deeper fellowship with your church family. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.